Hey guys, what's up? It's Danielle. So welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be taking you through a revamped look into both my pantry as well as my fridge and my freezer. Now, I redid all of the organization and I did talk about this in my previous video where I shared my kitchen organization. I showed my entire kitchen. So if you're interested in that, I will have it linked below. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so here's my main fridge and freezer. And if you're new to my channel, I actually have two refrigerators. There's one that I have down in my basement, which kind of, goes along with my reserve pantry. And then there's this one, which is the main one. So I'm just going to give you guys kind of an overview. I did just go grocery shopping and I have everything in the fridge put away, but I don't have everything put away in the pantry. So just a heads up on that. But this is what it looks like majority of the time. So I'm gonna start over here in the door. I have butter and margarine, and there's also garlic and ginger. I used to have cheese right here because I would snack on it a lot, but I ended up getting all of these containers from Home Goods. So I've just been using those, and honestly, I like it a lot better. So in the door, I just have some of this Kraft cheese that I use for grilled cheese. And then down here, I have this little cow that is filled with baking soda to make everything, keep it smelling nice. I always keep sandwiches that are pre-made right here, just as a grab and go option for like lunches and stuff. I shouldn't say always, but I've started doing it in the past few weeks. And then these all serve a different purpose. So usually if I have meat or something that needs to be prepared, I'll put it in this one. And then here is where I will usually put stuff for my dinners that I take with me to work, because I work from 2 to 10:30. And then over here is like stuff that needs to get used up. And this shelf just is kind of like a free-for-all. So right now I have eggs, and these are the ones that I need to use up. And then over here, I have string cheese that I snack on all the time. And this middle one is for like when I prep out vegetables or fruit, and it's just kind of bonus storage. And then this one is for soda. I haven't put it in the fridge yet. This is all for like breakfast. And what I'll do is the night, or the day before, I should say, I will put 2 or 3 eggs in here, depending on what I think I'm gonna want for the next day. And then for breakfast, I could just take this whole thing out. So it's actually very handy. This is kind of extra, extra dairy and things like that. I don't use all the time. And then this is like the main dairy stuff. So there's milk and liquid egg whites that I used for a recipe a little while ago. And then this is where I keep juices and also lemonade. And then in the drawers, this left one has all vegetables that I need to prep. And this right one has fruit, and some of it, like the grapes, I do need to prep. This drawer down here, I kind of treat as like a deli drawer, minus the eggs. I just keep them down here so that they're out of the way, but I have them in a Sterilite container. This was the only thing that I could find that would fit in this drawer, and I like it because it holds 60 eggs. Could probably hold a bit more than that, but that's why I like it. And then I just have different meats and cheeses and breakfast meat, and this is like all stuff for pizza. In the door right here, I do not store dairy, and that's because I don't want it to go bad. And this stuff is all like not technically dairy, so it's totally fine, but coffee creamer and almond milk. And then right here, I just have all of my condiments, and I do go through a lot of this, so it's always being replenished and used up. And then right here, I have more like pickled or jarred stuff like relish or olives, pickles, that sort of thing. All right, in the freezer, this is where things get a little bit crazier. It's not the most organized, I will admit, but if you recall, this is my main freezer, so I do have extra stuff down in my basement. So primarily what's in here are my ice packs for my lunch or my dinner that I take with me to work. I have these containers, and this one just has spinach in it. The one below that has kale, and it's nice because I can just take out the container, grab what I want, and then put it back in here, and I don't have to deal with the bags or anything. I have some popsicles, and then in here, these are like bread products, like that can actually fit. So right now, I think it's like just some pita bread. And then I have some leftover bread from when I made French toast, so I'm going to use that up. Basically, my rule is anything that is being used currently or is an open package stays in this fridge or freezer. I have more ice packs, and then I have fruit on this side. So these are bananas, and then down at the bottom I have some mixed fruit because I make a lot of smoothies. All right, so now we're gonna get into my pantry, and I did show the outside of the door in my kitchen organization video, but if you didn't watch that, I'll have it linked in the description box below. But I have this, which I love. It's from Hobby Lobby, and then I made this bow and I hot glued it to this little wreath that I got from the Target dollar spot, so I just thought it was really cute. And what I actually did was, this used to be a bifold door, but I turned it into a single door, and all I did was I rotated all of the hinges so that it's reinforced. And I like this a lot better. I'm not a big fan of bifold doors, so it's also a lot nicer because I can get to stuff like on the left-hand side of the pantry. But just to give you an overview, I do have a motion activated light in there, so it's gonna go on and off, but this is what it looks like. It's nothing spectacular, but just remember what I've been saying. Organization doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be functional, and it has to work for you and your family. So I have magnets and stuff that used to be on the side of my fridge, but I thought it looked kind of junky, so I put them on the inside of the pantry. I have a calendar and 2 dry erase boards. This one I use for stuff that I want to buy that I'm going to forget about, that I don't buy very often. So cleaning products, household stuff, you know, spices, like the one-off sort of things. And then right here, I kind of use this as like a board for ideas of things that I want to make. So it's really just multi-purpose. And then this is just a thing from my intuitive eating course that I've been in for the past couple of months. So right up here, I have spices and oils. This hasn't really changed, but these organizers are all from Lowe's, and I think they were like $7 and change, so it's really not that bad. They do have ones that are larger that have 4 shelves, so I probably should have done that, but I think this works for right now. So spices right here and right there, these ones are ones that I don't use as often, I would say. And then everything on this side pertains to drinks. So there's Brita pitcher filters, there's stuff that I add to my smoothies, there's hot chocolate mix, there's lemonade mix, and this Lazy Susan has been an absolute lifesaver for me. So this is where I keep condiments, oils, and my most used spices like salt and pepper. So already you can see salt, pepper, and then we get into the oils, so like butter and avocado oil, which I need to refill, and then coconut oil, canola oil spray. I have syrup, and then soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, sesame oil, balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar, and then the condiments that I keep up here are the ones that I know I'm gonna run out of pretty quickly, and they are from my reserve pantry. And then since it is summer, I always keep one of these in here as well, just within arm's reach, because you never know. I used to cramp up a lot in my legs because I wasn't drinking enough water, so I always keep that on hand. But I also have some shortening that I use for seasoning my cast iron. And then right there is a big old bottle of hot sauce that I use to refill the one that's in my fridge. Right here is a bread box, and I put it back in here like that because I forgot that I need to wash it. But normally this holds bagels, so I'm gonna take that out. But normally that holds bagels. So I have my apron right here on the side, just hanging on a command hook. This is where I keep chips. But again, I just bought groceries, so I haven't replenished my pantry yet, but that's where that is. And then these are all crackers. And right in here, I have nuts and like popcorn. And this is the little remote that goes to the light. And it is battery operated because there's no hardwired light in there. So kind of annoying, but right here is kind of the sweets section. And I also have protein powder and pre-workout here on the side, but I have different stuff like for snacks, like brownies, and there's Nutty Buddies, there's cookies, there's marshmallows, that sort of thing. This is a vacuum that I ended up getting for free because we have this reward system at work, and it actually works really well. So, all right, I have some Lazy Susans, and this one just has potatoes in it, and I don't know, they just fit nicely in there. I wasn't planning on putting potatoes in there, but it just kind of happened. So maybe it'll be a thing for me now. Big old thing of vegetable oil. And this is stuff that I don't reach for very often, like peanut butter and jelly. And then I have almonds, and there's craisins over there, like right here, that I put in salads. And I also have granola for my homemade yogurt. And then this is all baking. So let me get this out of the way. But this is all for baking. So on this Lazy Susan, I have, or I should say turntable, I have things that I reach for pretty often, like baking powder, salt, cocoa powder, baking soda, vanilla. I use vinegar to clean, so I just keep it right here. It's just a lot easier. And then pancake and waffle mix. There's also cake flour. In here are the smaller things. So stuff like clear vanilla, lemon extract, there's molasses and cream of tartar. And then down here I have all my different kinds of flour and sugar. And this is a serving tray that just I put on the side. It actually fits really nicely right there. So that's everything for my regular pantry. So now I'm gonna run downstairs and show you guys my reserve pantry. You know, the fridge and the freezer down there hasn't really changed, but I don't know. I think there's some people who love to see that. So here is my reserve pantry. And if you're new to my channel, this is basically where I keep extra stuff that's shelf stable on hand. And I started doing this, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year after the start of the pandemic. It's always something that I've wanted anyways, but now that I'm able to, I just absolutely love having it. It makes everything a lot easier, even though it is one more thing to maintain. So starting up here, I have rice and grain type stuff like quinoa. There's mac and cheese, pasta, different types of broth, and then soup. There's corn, These are gandules, which are pigeon peas that you use for arroz con gandules. And then black beans, kidney beans. I'd go through a lot of chickpeas, so I have a ton of that. I need to replenish my peeled tomatoes, but I use that, the tomato sauce and the tomato paste to make my own homemade pasta sauce. So always like to have a good supply of those, but that's mainly like more of a winter thing for me. In this shoebox, I have more chocolate chips, and in this container, I have my baking stuff. So stuff like food coloring, and I also have a big old thing of sprinkles. These are mainly for Christmas. And then behind that, I have different types for, you know, multi-purpose, different season, what have you. This is cornstarch, and then there's baking powder, baking soda, oatmeal, and cornmeal. And then right here, I just have stuff like jalapenos, and then there's also some sofrito and sun-dried tomatoes and some roasted peppers. And then these buckets I got from Home Depot, and they are food safe. So you can totally just take everything out of the package and put it in here. I didn't want to do that because I don't use, well, yeah, I don't think I'd be able to use 5 gallons worth of flour and sugar in a year. I'd have to do a lot more baking. So this one just has sugar, and this one has flour. I was going to try to open it so that you could see, but everything is just in its own packaging. And for the flour, I do put it in a plastic bag so that if anything happens, it's not going to go everywhere once I take it upstairs. So I actually really, really like these buckets, and I love the idea of it. So someday when I have a bigger house and kids running around, I'm definitely going to have to get more of those. But these are just extra oils and vinegars and things of that nature. In here, I have extra spices and stuff like that. So kosher salt, there's garlic, like minced garlic. There's packs of taco seasoning. This is salt that I use to clean my cast iron. And then, you know, just got like regular spices. Like there's some dill and stuff that I use to replenish my spice rack upstairs. I do have a little bit of room to grow, and I normally have a pack of water right here, but I haven't brought it down here yet. So it's on my list, but there's extra, you know, bins so that I can move things around if I really want to. And I have some applesauce right here. I apologize for the lighting, but I don't have the best lighting down here. And then all of this is like sauces, condiments. I thought I had peanut butter and jelly in there, but I don't. So just sauces and condiments. I go through a lot of condiments, like I said before. But there is my little reserve pantry. I love, love, love having this. So now I'm going to show you guys the fridge and the freezer. All right, this was left by the previous owner of my condo, and I love being able to have a second fridge and freezer. It was always something that I wanted, and I just love the fact that I have it now. So on the outside, I just have this, which is magnetic. So I used to keep like utensils in there when I was in college, but anyways, I just have it right there just in case I want to put something in there. So here's what the freezer looks like. And as you can see, I keep it pretty well stocked. So in the door, I have margarine, and then there's butter. I have bread, more bread. This is instant dry yeast. And then there's bagels. And then back in here, I have all different kinds of veggies and veggie mixes. Right in there is some fruit, and this is all chicken. There's also some ground beef, and then this is all cheese. Now I'm gonna take you to the fridge, which is pretty bare. So right here, just some condiments, ketchup and some barbecue sauce. I have Powerade, and then back here I have some creamer, and there's also almond milk, homemade yogurt, regular yogurt, that sort of thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this updated look into my fridge, freezer, pantry, reserve pantry, all that good stuff. But hopefully it gave you some ideas on how to organize stuff. Just remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to look perfect, it just has to be functional, and it has to work for you and your family. So anyways, if you did like this video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And I love you all, and I will talk to you on my next video. Bye guys.